This ain't no time for segregating. I'm talking about brown and yellow too. Hi, yellow girl, can you tell? You're just the surface of our dark, deep well. If your mind could really see, you know your color is same as me. Pardon me, brother, as you stand in your glory. I know you won't mind if I tell the whole story. Yourself together, learn to know your side. Shall we commit our own genocide before you check out your mind? I know we've all got problems, that's why I'm here to say, keep peace with me and I with you. Let me love in my own way. Now I know we have great respect for the sister and mother. It's even better yet. But there's the joker in the street, loving one brother and killing the other. When the time comes and we are really free, there'll be no brothers left, you see. We people who are darker than blue, don't let us hang around this town and let whatever say come true. We're just good for nothing, they all figure. A boyish grown-up shiftless jigger. Now we can't hardly stand for that. Or is that really where it's at? Pardon me, brother, while you stand in your glory. I know you won't mind if I tell the whole story. Pardon me, brother, I know we've come a long, long way, but let us not be so satisfied, for tomorrow can be an even better day.
Wow. Brother Curtis Mayfield, man.
Deep.
Woo, 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 woo. Now, you heard Dr. King talking about to serve. What became present for you, Aaron, as you was listening to Dr. King?
To serve is it's for some people it's a heavy word. Some people get caught up in their selfishness, but to serve, because we are all connected and as one. When I see a brother down, a sister down, I don't mind going into my pocket, whatever. Give them, even if I give them a word of knowledge, encouragement. You never know how that seed's gonna spread, and that's why you have to serve and have to help out, because we're all the same. You could be up one day and down another, and being down and crushed and kicked, and then you think everybody hates you. Sometimes what you put out is what you get back in, but you got to remember, we have to serve one another. We're all in the same game, but you know something, we got to make it work for each of us as well as yourself.
Are we serving this morning on what's in your hand? Are we serving?
Oh yes, we are.
We are serving.
We are serving.
Okay. Brother Shango, what how many in your family? Like brothers and sisters, how many?
Presently 6, but we started out with 11.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm actually the 11th of 11.
Wow. Now, what is that like?
Trust me, it's fun, you know. A lot of fights. You know how it goes when a lot of children are together.
11 of 11. Wow.
Sounds like a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. So when you heard Dr. King talking about to serve, what became present for you?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind is that you have to make your contribution, right? Is meaning playing your role. When I look at the body, I take everything back to the body. You know, the eyes see, so the eyes have the role to, their role to play. You know, the tongue has this role to play. You know, even down to what we may call the lowest, like the anus, has a great role to play. There was a little story about, the body having an argument because everybody, all the different organs in the body wants to rule. And the brain said, I am ruler because I'm brain. The heart said, if I stop pumping, everybody dies, right? So anus started talking, everybody laugh, because like, come on, man, you're the lowest of low. So the anus said, if I shut off and don't allow anything to pass through, all of you died. And they say that's correct. So anus, you be ruler. So basically saying that everybody plays their role, even the person that cleaning up the garbage, plays a very serious role,
Respect. Wow.
The cog in the machine.
So I don't know, I guess I kind of like it myself at this work that I'm doing. I kind of like it to spirituality because I'm in a restaurant, I'm talking to a brother. Young lady walks in. He knows the sister, so they're talking. She had a little baby with her, and the brother I'm talking to, real nice brother, real good brother. I know him from his lady, and so somehow she said she's into fitness. I said, oh, okay, and we need to talk. Oh yeah, you got a radio show. Boom. That's where the spirituality comes in because I felt connected. I knew. Her name is Karen Morales. She came in as a guest. And as so she came in. That's the connection to you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me about Karen. Tell me about Karen. That's your lady.
yeah. That's my queen. That's my wife. Yeah. Different
wonderful
ways,
lady.
Yeah, different ways of saying it. Very strong sister.
Yeah.
I can remember the first time I've seen her. I can't say when we met because I was working out at this gym and I saw her. And what happened? She reminded me of an ex-girlfriend I had, so I was tearing her. I wasn't trying to be rude or anything, but I was a little too shy to go over and say anything. So then later on, on 7th Avenue, they had a restaurant there called Strictly Roots.
Yeah.
And we bumped in, to each other at Strictly Roots, So she looked at me and she's like, do I know you? And I said, yes, I go to the gym. So she, asked me, well, you wouldn't say anything if I didn't approach you, and it was something like that. But our first conversation was about health. So I was introducing her to a brother that actually was one of my teachers and still a great teacher to me by the name of Laila Africa, Dr. Africa.
Yeah, I know the name.
So we were talking about the book African Holistic Health, and I was telling her that every black person should have that book, because that book, deals with what we call ethno medicine, meaning that, every ethnic race has there's certain things that works for them, So then, we had our conversation concerning that. And then later on, eventually we start getting a little closer based on communication. This is how powerful communication is, to communicate. Because this body, if the cells don't communicate with each other, the body is going to absolutely take that downhill curve. So communication is so important. So then we got a little deeper. And then I realized how strong the sister was because of, certain things that she went through, and still standing and still strong and still maintain her sanity, still maintaining her sanity and so on. So, we got a little closer, and eventually, both of us coming together created another element, because we have a 2-year-old son right now, So, very, very strong and powerful sister.
Yeah, and that little boy is he's strong too, because I saw the other day in the restaurant, and he was like communicating with people, talking. Hey, I'm here, letting them know I'm here. I'm here. Hey, he was like acknowledge me. You say he's only 2 years old?
Yeah, well, 2 3/4.
Yeah, he was in the stroller, and we were having a conversation on what we were talking about, and he was like, "Hey, I'm here. Don't forget me. I'm here." I was like, "Wow, okay, we see you, brother. We see you, man." Now, so you you work out, I can see, because you look fit, and you're also into health also.
Absolutely. I would say I'm an expert at something called sight, sound, smell, and touch diagnosis.
Okay.
In other words, I could just look at you coming across the street and detect certain things that's going on with you, strength, weaknesses, if an organ is ailing, even down to your personality based on the condition. Because you see, when we look at disease, and as I use the term condition, when we look at disease has a personality.
Disease or dis-ease?
Dis-ease, which is, dis-ease. Certain dis-ease has a personality that goes along with it. It's just like every thought has a chemical component. So when you think, your body would release certain chemicals, according to the thoughts that you're carrying, that the chemicals would actually make it a reality. Because what we're living is a chemical reality, actually. And this is why earlier, when we were having a little talk, I was talking about your perception is what creates your reality, right? Because it's how you see it is going to be, As a man thinketh, so is he. We hear a term in the Bible. It's a very true term.
It's true.
Because no matter how bad the world is, as long as you look at it from a different, lens, I would say lens, if you're wearing a green lens, you're going to see green. If you're wearing a red lens, you're going to see red, Your experience will be much different than the others based on what you have in your head. Or we can interpret that as what you have in your hand,
Sure.
Okay.
It's deep. What are you saying?
We actually, it's time for us to take a break. And so we're gonna take a short break and come back. And I wanna ask you guys a question, and I want you to. I'm gonna give you time to think about it. And this question is for both of y'all. The question is, what is your definition of art? What is your definition of art? So with that said, we're gonna take a little break, and then we shall return.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
The World Evangelical Deliverance Church Incorporated presents the 53rd anniversary of Reverend Dr. Ruth Singletary on Saturday, November the 10th, 2012. Doors open at 2. Program starts at 3 at the New Covenant Temple of United Holy Church of America, 1805 Amsterdam Avenue, a corner of 149th Street in New York City. From Mississippi, it will be the Jackson Southerners. From Mississippi, the 5 Blind Boys. The Timothy Wright Memorial Choir.
Whatever the time, God
the gospel slide minister, Brother Derek Smith, the legendary Roscoe Robinson, formerly of the Blind Boys of Mississippi and Alabama, Little Sammy and the Mighty Flying Clouds, Deacon Williams and the Soul Converters, the Peoples Brothers, Eddie and the Joy Wonders, the Sunset Jubilees, the Fantastic Solinaires, Brother Lenny Stewart Jr., your MC, Sister Liz Black, Sister Virginia Cotton, and Dalton Anderson. Is all happening on Saturday, November the 10th at the New Covenant Temple of United Holy Church of America, 1805 Amsterdam Avenue, a corner of 149th Street in New York. No tickets at the door. No tickets at the door. For information, you can call 347-346-8365. That's 347-346-8365. Dr. Ruth Singateri's 53rd anniversary featuring the Jackson Southerners. Saturday, November the 10th. Saturday, November the 10th. For more information, 347-346-8365. This is Dalton Anderson. I'll see you there. And he always
LaTra Enterprise, in association with John Deus Clean Productions, presents an evening of classic soul at Lehman Center for the Performing Arts, starring Dennis Edwards and the Temptations Review, October 20th at 7:30. Also featuring the voice of the Stylistics, Even Brown. Special guest performance from Shirley Jones of the Jones Girls and the Delphonics.
All I know is la 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 la. I love you.
Last but not least, Washington, D.C. singing sensation Halo. Saturday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. Dennis Edwards and the Temptations Review at Lehman Performing Arts Center. For tickets, call 718-960-8833. An evening of classic soul and an evening you don't want to miss.
Are you a singer, a musician, or a producer? Are you looking to record a demo, a song, or an entire album? This is Angela Harden, General Manager of WHCR 90.3 FM, and I'm excited to tell you that you no longer have to travel all the way downtown to record your project. WHCR offers a state-of-the-art recording studio with an experienced engineer. Our studio is affordably priced and conveniently located in the heart of Harlem, right here on the campus of City College. For rates and information, please call 212-650-7147. That's 212-650-7147. Harlem has its own radio station and its own recording studio.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York. WHCR 90.3 FM, New York. WHCR 90.3 FM, New York. WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines, picket signs, don't punish me with brutal brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right on.
Hey man, what's your name?
Right on. Right on. Everybody thinks we're at home. Oh, but who are they to judge us? Simply cause our hair is long. Oh, you know we've got to find. Bring some understanding here today. Oh, oh, oh. Pick it loud and pick it sound. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see what's going on. Yeah, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Ooh. Right on, right on. Right on. Right
Okay. Marvin Gaye. Okay. Go Marvin. So let's say we had Bob Marley, we had Curtis, we had Isaac Hayes, and now Marvin. So, Aaron, I'm going to start with you. You remember the question?
What is art?
What is your definition of art? Yeah.
My definition of art is the inner person. As a matter of fact, the definition of art is my world, because I know when you draw, paint, or create anything that's from the inner parts of the soul, you actually talk to people. It's therapy for many people. When they look at stuff, it brings back memories. It soothes them. It gives them a sort of like a nice, pleasant feeling towards whatever they consider art in their world. And art branches out into many fields, from verbal, visual, taste, smell. You get art is like floating liquids. It's like gaseous clouds. It takes many forms, many shapes. When I look in the sky, I see art. When I look at people, I see art. They're mechanical. When people walk, it's like it's a beautiful thing. It's like some brothers see art in a woman. I see art in everything. Everything I look at is like art. How did it get there? Through thought, provision, and then you apply yourself. Before you know it, that art became living. Art is like a seed. You bring it from the mind, and you can actually bring it to reality.
Can art be physical fitness?
Art is physical fitness too. Everything that we perceive in life is a form of art. From even I hate to say it, but some people who are in their wicked ways of war, in their world, that's art. But I like the beauty, the positiveness of art. Art brings out life. It feeds us to make us who we are and greater.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Aaron Garrett. And now Nasir Shango. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes.
What is your definition of art?
Well, I mean, after what the brother just expressed there, I don't think anything is left for me to say about art. That was beautiful, man. It couldn't be said better. right? But art to me is actually an expression. As the brother said earlier, is bringing out whatever inside the way you do it best. So everybody got their contribution to make. So I look at it as the same, on the same level as making your contribution in the way you can, the way you know how.
Is this art?
Absolutely. Even down to, as he said, even on the negative side, the con man, it takes a lot of skills to be a con man. If you notice the term that they use, a con artist, because to lie, you have to have a hell of a memory, right? Because it's not an event, so it's not something that you easily remember. So yeah, so so when you look at art, is the whole spectrum you got to look at,
How about me? This work I'm doing here in the studio.
Oh, that's art. That's art. The way how you deliver. The techniques that you use to reach the people. I look at that as art because some people, like 3 people, could come up and say something to me, and you as the 4th person when you come, I receive it, but I didn't receive it from the other 3 people based on their art, the way that they deliver the information or the message that they're transmitting.
Could helping people with their health, could that be considered an art as well?
Absolutely. It has to be an art. You got to be a serious artist in order to influence and to convince and to help people, with health. Because you have to remember we're in a world that, go in the opposite direction, the other direction, meaning opposite to nature. We're not naturopathic or naturopathic anymore. So it takes an art, to bring them back, to bring them to the light. And I think the art that I use is simplifying things, is to break it down, dissect it, bring it down to the simplest letters so they can grasp. I look at that as an art itself, because I think, not blowing my own trumpet, but hey, I should blow my own trumpet, right? It's mine, that I have absolute, the ability to do that. Like for instance, I'll break cancer down and explain to folks what exactly cancer is, because the worst part of cancer is the sound, is the word, So if people get scared, they panic and not do the things that they need to do, because when you look at cancer, you got to look at the body is expressing itself. It's saying something is wrong. Now you got to go to the source, to the root of the problem. The medical world, they deal with the symptoms, If you don't find the root, it's just like a tree. If there's problem in a branch, you don't clip the branch, it's going to grow back. If there's problems, you got to get to the root because that's where all the essence, are stored. So art, it's a heck of a word. I love it, I love, the whole expression, and I respect, other folks and how they express themselves, So that's as much as I can say on art.
So how can we get people to enjoy exercise and to work out, make it a part of their life, their everyday life, and to enjoy it? Because some people just don't enjoy it. Some people do it because they have to do it, and some people they just not going to do it. I don't know if it's laziness or just not in the mindset of exercise. How do we get people to know that exercise is? They know it's important, but to get them to do it on a regular basis.
Well, that's an art. I think we better call up, the sister for that. That's an art of itself, because you see, you have to find what they like, right. Because we have different learning styles. Some people are audio, some people are visual, some people are sequential, some people are, basically random. So you have to find their learning style and the best way to reach them, or type of music that they like. So if you like a certain type of music, say, okay, come on, let's move to this sound, Let's use that, as part of the exercise program. But I think, you have to study that individual. You have to study the individual well and see where they are, But the benefits that comes, with exercise is something, trust me, that would work as a magnet to hold them to it, because back when I had my situation, it wasn't that easy, for me to just be disciplined and do what I had to do. But the benefits, when I think how good I felt after doing what I had to do, is what held me to it, So this is, Yeah, go ahead.
You want to know something? Just when you're saying, I'm actually struggling with the exercising thing, right? I used to study Kali, stick fighting, and what you go. Once you start building up into it, and it's like you have to have a love for it. And sometimes it's like you get stagnant in your way. Oh my God, I don't want to do this, man. Because like what you go. But I guarantee you, if you do it, it will motivate you. It'll open up your mind. You'll breathe better, you move better. A lot of things. I'm saying it, but then again, you have to apply it because some people get so caught up in lackadaisical in their ways because they're in a routine. That routine, and they come home and say like, "Oh, I'm too tired." No, you're not. Once you're in that job, you do the 8 hours, and all of a sudden, like you get outside, you get that burst of energy because you're in a whole different realm. Now, if you take that same energy, you go home, do it a little by little by little, and I guarantee you, like my seafood used to say, you're sitting down, exercise. Do something with a body part that I guarantee you. You walk in the kitchen, do a couple of reps on the edge of the table or the countertop, and as you constantly do that, you'll build up a repetition in a way, and it'll make you feel much better. And all that junk.
Do what on the countertop?
Oh yeah, you can do amazing things on the counter. You can
On the
stretch
countertop.
on the counter.
oh,
Use the
yes.
edge of the counter. Not. On the countertop, as you lean it, you
Wait.
can actually do push.
Wait a minute. You said you could do some amazing things on the countertop.
Oh, actually, well, not the countertop itself, but you use the edge of the table as a leverage.
That's creativity, man. Creativity. Now, can you see this? Can you see this? This internet. This lady here, this woman. Can you see?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes,
the picture.
yeah, I can see her.
She's 72 years old.
Ouch.
Whoa.
Ernestine Shepard.
Well, she's 72. She looks like
Er-
40, 50 something. Wow.
Er- Ernestine Shepard. It says the Guinness World Record oldest female bodybuilder. She runs marathons, and she has a six-pack, as you can see.
She's just proving about the whole scenario about age and body. She trained her mind, body, and soul to like break that whole scenario. I'm 80. I'm with her. I can't move. Not true.
She said
Wow.
Ernestine Shepard is in better shape than most people. Dedicates her junior. Dedicates her junior. She's up at 3 a.m. every morning. She spends her days running, lifting weights, and working out.
Wow.
She works as a certified personal trainer at her gym. Feeling better than she did at 40, bodybuilding champion Ernestine Shepard shows us that being out of shape as we age truly is merely an option, not a mandate. She is a role model not just for senior women everywhere, but for every one of us all. Wow.
She puts a lot of us to shame because she actually stepped into that realm of like, look, she got tired of the way her life was. She bettered it in a whole different genre. Excellent.
Yeah, that's mind over matter right there.
Wow.
So, mind over matter,
Yeah.
mind over matter. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. The Creator, uses all of us.
Yes.
But sometimes, for some reason, we don't open up that channel to let it come in, so that we can use because the Creator said, "What's in your hand?" He said to you, "What's in your hand?" He said to Aaron, "What's in your hand?" He said to Brother Shango, "What's in your hand?" He said to me, "What's in my hand?"
Yep.
Well, I said, "Well, what's in your hand?" Radio show. So, I don't want to say too much, but I'm putting together a program.
Right.
Maybe the beginning of 2013.
Nice.
And Aaron, I want you to participate, to come in and do some artwork. And brother, I want you to come in and do some of your work that you do. And we're going to bring a whole lot of other artists together in one space and just do something incredible to start 2013.
By doing that, you're going to open up a whole can of worms in a good way. In other words, by you putting that, you're actually inspiring that next generation that's coming up, and they're going to see. You're going to put a spark in them. You know why? Because they're going to see that basically, like, look, they can do more, and we're the unifying people that can actually make that next generation come up and defy all those so-called odds, because it's up to the older ones to help the little ones to miss all those pitfalls and try to show them. And I guarantee you, it'll some of them will grab it, and some of them may not, but something we got to apply.
Is boxing art, Shango?
It is an art. It's a very barbaric one, but Yes, I was a boxer as well. Amateur. I did amateur boxing for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love the art. But when I matured a little more and stood back and look at it, you know, it just remind me of the days, the days in
gladiator
Greece,
days.
the gladiator, absolutely, in the Colosseum, beating in each other and so on. So it's an art, but it's not an art I embrace anymore. In terms of self-defense,
Oh, exactly. It's a necessary art for self-defense, but some people feed off of it. Like the gladiators that was a blood sport, and people fed off it because that's all they had. That's what they all choose to have.
Well, when I look at boxing, the people that I like are the people that can move and very defensive and know how to avoid. It's almost like a dance to me. You see people like Muhammad Ali. He was dancing.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Ray Leonard, Ray Robinson. Even like Benitez, he would get on the ropes and you couldn't touch him. He would lay on. I don't know if you're familiar with Benitez.
Yes.
He wasn't doing the rope-a-dope. He would get on the ropes and you could not touch him on the ropes. And one of the things that my teacher taught me how to fight on the ropes.
Right.
And so, I would get on the ropes and you couldn't touch me.
Ooh, nice.
On the ropes. So that might be a part of the project too. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Excellent.
So what do you do? I remember one time when I was boxing, I had the cup that we used, and you had designed it for. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I remember.
You wrote my name on it. You did a nice design.
Exactly. Every time I see a surface, to me, it's actually a canvas. I don't care. It could be hard metal, steel, canvas, silk. Even sometimes I say I wonder if I can paint on water. These are things that go through my mind.
Wow.
That's painting on water and keep it switchcom. That's a form of art. Because every time I see something new, I'm like, wow, how did that brother or sister do that? It would fascinate me how the mind works and how each and individual one of us have a certain art skill, and they can.
But I've seen water as art.
Yeah.
Like how they has it shoot out different things
Art finds its own. Water finds its own way. Water it's like beauty in motion. Water it's fascinating. It has endless shapes and forms and power.
So what are you working on now?
I'm working on now. I'm working. Actually, I do a thing called an interior design, which I help out. Sometimes kids or people in general, older or younger, doesn't matter, because first of all, kids love things too as well as adults. So you can make if you can make a child's realm or their whole edifice nice, you'd be surprised the joy you spark in their life, and that helps them with their homework or whatever they do, because it makes them feel like they have something. So you feed that, you feed it, and basically you make them happy. When you make that spirit happy, it brings out joy.
Children love art.
Oh yeah, children love art, big time. But sometimes in society, they figure let's cut art. You don't cut art. Art is a creativity from music, dance, singing, song, painting. All that helps structure a child, because every time when they play music, it does something to the mind to excel them even more.
But okay, here the studying that I have done and what I have learned. Say you in a program and they cut the art.
Right.
That does not mean the art has to stop.
No.
Because someone else cuts the art. What does that got to do with you?
It doesn't.
Let's make it happen. Let's create. This is an opportunity. You cut the art. You're gonna cut Big Bird.
Right.
Well, we're gonna make it happen.
You still can make it happen despite whatever you cut. Because remember, you got a community of people. We all come together.
That's it.
And we can still do it. You don't have to depend on government. Government always would never really helped us. Basically, community, before government was even in existence, community and people always helped each other out before these people come in and try to build and control and shape us. No.
Wait a minute. Shape our own I'm going to get deep now. I'm going to get real deep on you right now. I'm going to go deep, Brother Shango.
Go ahead.
I know a man that didn't. First of all, this man was very, very powerful. He moved a whole country. He didn't have an apartment. He didn't have a house. He didn't have a coat. He didn't even own a pair of pants. He didn't even own a pair of shoes. He just had some sandals. And this man moved a country, a nation. Is that possible? And he used what? What you said, Shango, his mind. And you know who that man was?
Who?
Brother Gandhi. He gave up everything.
Everything.
Wow. Gave up everything. Shango, pants, shirt, suit. He's let it go.
He let the world go. He shook off everything the world supposedly was going to give him, and he basically he had God. He had whatever he believed in. Actually helped him move mountains.
Man, so I should just go home to my apartment and just give everything away. Here, take it. All my motivational CDs, all my motivational books. I got to keep at least one book, right? Take all my book. Take it all. Take it. I don't want it.
You can do that, but you will bet that will actually push you to motivate you to do something else to survive.
Wow. Cause I got a store in my apartment. I got a store. Like I got books on top of books. Tapes, CDs, forget it. Every motivational thing you ever could think of, I got a lot of it. So
yeah, I was telling the brother, I had a situation in my life where basically like just about everything was taken from me. I didn't tell nobody, nothing. They figured that to look at me, you think everything's cool. I didn't have a home.
Wow.
And I was like, you know something, but yet I was a working person, but I said, you know something. I'm gonna make it work. It didn't affect me where I was basically depressed or whatever. I saw my situations like, let's see if we can make this work.
So where did you live?
In a warehouse.
In a warehouse.
Yeah.
Wow. We're gonna come back to that in a minute. Shango, so what are you working on now?
Well, basically, I do lectures, as the brother mentioned, motivational speaking, to motivate folks, to help them, to actually come back to the place that we once was. One of the things that when we are speaking about the youths and, getting people to function a certain way, we have to include nutrition, because you have to remember it's like fuel. One of the reasons for us, the experiences we're having today, because we are running out of fuel. You see, that's another thing. And the chemicals that they're using in the foods or the non-foods that these youths are ingesting is also controlling their minds. It's all about mind control, because you have to remember, even the word government means to control the mind, because the word gov came from a Greek word called kubanan, means to control. Ment came from a Latin word called mente, meaning the mind, right? So the control of mind, So chemically, we are being controlled. We have the vaccination program. Most people don't know how dangerous vaccines are. But vaccines actually could control the brain, the circuitry system of the brain. When we talk about circuitry system, it's just like the breaker system in your house. So you'd have a breaker that actually turn the power or the lights on in the kitchen, and you have another one that will turn the lights on in the bedroom. So if the one for the bedroom goes out, then you lose, the light from the bedroom, So the same thing with the body. This is why when a person gets a stroke, you find they lose the mobility to a particular side of the body, because the electricity is not flowing to that part of the body anymore, So these people have been mastering, because, they have done this so many times over. They have mastered the art of actually getting into your brain, via your blood, to control you, to keep you in a certain position. It's called mental slavery. So mental slavery, you can look at it on a physical level. There's something happening in the brain that actually suppressing us. Now, all the vaccination has a preservative they call thimerosal, which is a mercury-based preservative. Now, when you look at mercury, right, or you look at any type of metal, also aluminum as well. I'm just, going to make it simple, right? When you look at metal, you go into a prison. That little cage that they put you into the prison is called a what? A cell. Because you have to remember, we are spiritual beings. The only way you can actually trap that spirit is to put it in a cellular body. Now we're in a cellular body, we can experience pain and suffering. Once we're out of the cellular body, then it doesn't exist no more. So this is why in the prison it's called a cell. And if you notice, the material that they use to build a cell is metal. Well, it's the same thing they're doing in our brain. Our brain is being imprisoned through the vaccination program, because this is a way of getting everyone. This is why we're wondering, these crazy things are going on, and we can't figure it out. So now my job, my place or my art is to use my ability to bring it to my brothers and sisters, to let them know, listen, man, you're on drugs. Okay, the reason why you're depressed, the reason why you're angry, the reason why you're going out there and hurting other people is because you're drugged up. It's not normal. You're running out of fuel. Now, if you had a gasoline engine car and you took diesel, diesel work for another type of car and another type of engine, you put it in the gasoline engine car, what would happen? It would move, but how fast, how well, and for how long, and eventually it would break down. You see? So we as human beings, we need to get back, and I'm saying humans, literally, we need to get back, our manual. Okay, you buy the car, you get a manual that tells you how to work it. Where's the manual for us? So we have to find out what fueled this body, what allowed this body to function the way God created it to function.
It's true. Exactly what the brother's talking about. The human body is basically circuitry. When you inject something else into the body and something that's not right, it confuses it. It stops it.
Absolutely.
And just like when he's saying with the medications that they give us sometimes, it clogs up the brain circuitry. It messes it up, and it can't read correctly because it's being rerouted. And all of a sudden now you're being stagnant. You're not thinking clearly, and now all of a sudden you start doing strange things. I'm like, wow, deep. That's so true.
Okay, we're gonna take this a different way, a different area now. Shango, what is your feelings or opinions about people like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Archimedes, these Greek philosophers? How do you feel about them?
Well, to me, the most effective thing about these Greek philosophers are the names, because all the Greek uses information from our ancestors anyway and just put their names to it. Because you got to remember, when you look at most of those, folks and the things that they say, you can't really find it in history. You go back to ancient Egypt, all the information is there. It's just like Imhotep. You don't hear anything about Imhotep.
No.
And you hear about Einstein. Come on. We built the pyramids. You don't hear anything about us, but we built the pyramids, and up to now they can't even figure out how the pyramids were built. And that information is still locked into our DNA, and this is why they're concentrating so much and keeping us down and actually redirecting that whole DNA situation. I'm looking for the word to explain it. Is like modifying it, reconstructing, like genetic reconstruction.
They're using it to their own.
Absolutely.
Purpose.
Because they know the powers that we have locked in, So most of these Greek philosophers, to me, is just theory, it's just stories. Just people putting them names, just like when you hear Swedish massage. Who were the first people that did massage? Our people, but they just have totally wiped us out or wiped us out of history.
So Hercules was Greek also, right?
Yeah.
So how come I could name Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Archimedes, Hercules, but you name Imhotep? Is there any other names that?
Oh, a bunch of them, man.
Why we don't know these? Why I don't know these names? Why we don't know these names?
Well, because you have to remember, we are going to schools that our oppressors, created.
For the one who's in control, feeds you what I want to feed you.
Absolutely.
So how does a person, if they want to learn about Egyptian philosophers, where do they get that information from?
Well, the quickest way, just walk down 125th Street. There's a lot of brothers out there on the street that has information. Now we have a library in our house. It's called the internet. Yep. So we can go online now and we can research literally anything. You just Google, right? So that's another way.
What does that word mean, Google? What does Google mean?
Well, I really don't know the definition of Google, but I can tell you what happens when you Google. I can't break that word, though. That's beyond me. I really don't know. But, just going online, actually punching in, You know, the site, I think, is called Google. You just punch in whatever questions you want to ask.
Or like I just punched in Ernestine Shepard and she just came up.
Absolutely. You know, so this is the age we're living in, the age of Aquarius, you know, the age of enlightenment. They say that mark is going to, that particular mark is going to take place.
And there's certain information that's out there that you may not, Google may not have, the websites may not have. You may have to dig deep and go to those libraries who have archaeological studies.
Like
They
the
will
Schomburg?
not exactly. They will not release that information because if it does, it can probably start a tidal wave.
That's
Because
true.
That knowledge is so pure and so righteous, or so righteous that basically people don't realize that we only people take on whatever they're being fed. And I guarantee you, if you start breaking away from that and swimming up the other way, you begin to explore and see more different things that your eyes and your mind begin to open and go like, wow, there's more to this game than we're being told.
Hold on.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Young, another segment of What's in Your Hand at WHCR 90.3 FM. You could also listen to us at www.whcr.org. Tell your friends, your families, your cousins, tell your enemies. So you better tune in to What's in Your Hand on WHCR 90.3 FM. And later on today, the professor is going to be here. Dr. Leroy Baylor, the professor is going to be here. So I want to definitely connect you to the professor, man, because he's got a great show called The Communicators. And then he has a show on Monday morning from 9 to 10 called Respect for Life, which is about mental health. So I definitely want to make that connection.
Yeah, that'd be good.
The reason why I'm here is because of the professor. He opened the door for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brother Leroy. They call him Brother Leroy. I call him Dr. Leroy, Professor Leroy.
Oh, excellent. It's always good to know a professor. Professor is a key to a lot of knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Tons of knowledge, yeah.
A professor is the key to a lot of knowledge. Wow, man. This is how are you enjoying this show so far, Aaron?
I'm loving it.
Not this show, this program. I don't think it's a show, it's a program.
This program it's more than a program. It feels like home. I mean, I can relate to what everybody's here talking about. I'm like, whoa, and we got to spread the knowledge and get the people into this that way. It's like being like Brother Rick into the ring. You can feel it out, and you know what it is to be, take the opponent down and still become king.
Brother Shango, how's this program been for you so far today?
Oh, it feels good. It feels good, And the reason why it feels so good is because I'm not the only one talking. I'm not the only one that has information, So it's like the same cell communication. Everybody have their piece to bring to the table,
Now, I didn't set this up. You know who set this up?
God.
The Grand Master set this up.
I'm telling you.
I'm just the vehicle that he's using. But he can use all of us in that way.
He does.
Just like he's using me, he can use any of us. When we decide I'm going to use what's in my hand, first I got to discover what's in my hand.
Yes.
And then once I discover what's in my hand, then I got to go to Dr. King. I got to say, okay, now I'm going to serve. And then all this will come through you. And so I get to have two great people here in the studio with me this morning. That's how it works.
Wow.
So I have these things called signature questions that I ask people. You got to have your signature question. Like for a long time, it would be, what's your definition of self-discipline? What's your definition of time management? All right, those are some of my signature questions. But I have another signature question I've been asking people, and I think this is important. So I'm going to start with, he pointed. Okay. It's in your hand, Shango. It's in your hand.
Yeah,
Aaron pointed toward you.
I passed the buck.
He passed the buck, so I'm going to just follow orders. Since he said go with you, I'm going to go with you first. So, Shango, I'm going to put $100 in your pocket, right? Now, my listeners that have been listening, they know what I'm getting to say. I'm going to put $100 in your pocket. We're going to put you in a city where you know no one. And you got to see in 30 days where you're going to be. You got to find a place to live. You got to eat with that $100. and you got to use the resources of the city. You can't call a lifeline and say, hey, Karen or anybody, mom, pop, send me some. No, you got to work off of your talents, your skills, the resources within you, and the resources of the city. So now we put you in the city. It could be L.A., Chicago, not New York, but L.A., Chicago, Atlanta, somewhere where you don't know anyone.
Right.
What is Brother Shango going to do? You got $100 in your pocket. You're in the middle of the city. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's a good one, because sometimes you don't even know, in advance, because as I said, necessity is the mother of invention. So when the need is there and you're in the situation itself, then things can just change, I could say what I could do now because I'm on the outside looking in, but when I get on the inside, it's a whole different other experience, So to me, having $100 in my pocket and not knowing anyone, the first thing I would do is to familiarize myself, or is to make friends, is to reach out to talk to somebody, right? I wouldn't want to quickly spend that money. I would keep that $100 as reserve, and see what I can do, because I already have $100. So that's the start, So I would just add to that, by going out there and seeing, if I could reach anyone that will overstand or understand my situation, or probably go and get a job, ask somebody to clean up, for them, because in a situation like that you have to put ego aside, so I would just put my ego aside and go clean somebody's floor, go wash their car, whatever, and learn the environment, find out where I'm at and what the situation there, so I could know how to maneuver. That's the best I could say.
And so after 30 days, what would your status be after 30 days? Like how much you think you would generate within 30 days?
I think after 30 days, I would be in an apartment, because I would have to now pull in my resources. I would have to use what in my hands. I'm a massage therapist as well. I could probably call a person up, and tell them, open your hands, let me give you a hand massage, for free. And then, after the first minute and they like it, they probably say, listen, give me some more, and, how much you charge. Or I'll probably do an eye reading, just look in their eyes, and see what's going on, And that I know for sure would get their attention. Because the first thing is like, how do you know? You could just look at me and know what I'm ailing from or with, So I would pull on whatever I have, to make me comfortable.
Wow.
Okay. Brother Aaron, $100 in the middle of the city. Wow, what do I do? $100, man. What am I going to do? Can't call on nobody. Can't call on the family.
No.
It got to be a city where you don't know anyone. You were seeing like you were in that situation somewhat. That's what made me think of it again.
Yep.
So what would Aaron Garrett do?
It's like a military force being cast into a zone. They don't know nobody. They know they got to go over there and get that enemy, right? What I would do is like I got $100 in my pocket. I look at it and go like, yeah, it's a plan. It's a start. That's good. I call 311, whatever information that they have, and then I would apply out for shelter. Get me some food without even using the $100. There's ways of getting free food, and it's basically when you find a shelter from the state, the city, whatever. Sometimes they're not the best place to be. You're gonna have to learn your fighting techniques. It helps you out. And once you start doing that, then you start connecting with the other outsources that they have and within the city, and you start using your all your skills on how to find a job. I don't care what type of job it is, it's a stepping stone to get to the next level. And before you know it, you're gonna have shelter, and you could have anywhere from, it all depends on how hard you apply yourself, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 in your pocket, plus a small place, a house, or even a room. You can find out how much a room costs and so on. There's many options that you have and actually getting yourself back onto your feet.
Wow, Shango.
I think I left the essence itself out, because when you say the first thing I would do, the first thing I should do to really call him God. For guidance.
You're actually right. That's the first thing you call on. You call on your creator, God, because that's the only one who's going to really get you out of the situation and show you guidance on where to go. And he will touch other people's hearts to lead you in that way, to make it happen for you. Because God, without God, we don't have anything.
That's
Nothing.
true.
Zero.
Wow. Now, Aaron, out of your 7 brothers and sisters, I know all of them.
Right.
Is there anyone that you were closer than the rest of them? Like one that you're just like for some reason y'all were closer than everybody else.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Brother Philip.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know, something about it because Philip had something about him that he had that intelligence. He had that go-getting spirit. And when he was in a down and out place, I've been there where he was, and I dropped what I was doing and I listened to what he was saying because he was crying out. He was in a bad, dark place, and I had to do that because he's my brother as well as everything. So we actually sit down and talk to him, and I told him these are the options. Choose, or you could either go this way or you can go that way, but you better go the correct way because when you hit that brick wall, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. Now you were third.
I was third, yeah.
Okay. And Philip was the youngest.
He was like the youngest out of the boys. Yeah, he was.
But you had a girl that was younger.
Yeah, Michelle was the
Michelle, I forgot about Michelle. Wow.
Oh, Michelle's wow. She's 7 kids.
Wow.
Raised them on her own. But God's blessed her in such a way. She's got this whole school scenario set up, teaching other kids.
Wow.
And she's doing phenomenal.
Forgot about Michelle. Wow. Yeah, she was a baby.
And she used to do that serious martial arts, and then she was good at it.
What?
Oh yeah, she was getting competition. I'm like, I didn't know you. So your kung fu's good, huh?
Wow, Michelle. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Sherry. She's got like about 3 or 4.
Oh, she has 3. But life is a beautiful thing. Despite whatever you go through, take it, grab it. If it's good, if it's bad, it's really nothing really bad. It's just situations that have been thrown at you. But if you perceive it as being bad, then it's gonna be bad. If it comes at you, you take it. It's like, say for instance, when you're up against the rope and you see that left coming in, what you gonna do? You gonna move or absorb it, right?
Absorb it. Absorb.
That's when if you don't move, that's what happens. So you use your opponent, like in jiu-jitsu, use your opponent's inertia or weight against himself, and that helps you in life. Life it's amazing.
Brother Shango, what's the difference between being home and listening to this program? Listening when Karen was here and you were listening, and now being here. What's the difference for you? Like,
Is not much of a difference, because I'm a person that I feel vibes, So being home, listening to the program was just as good as being here, because I could feel the vibe.
Yeah.
I almost felt that I was present,
Yeah, because you texted like 1,000 times, man. I was like, hey, man.
Because how I felt home is like, I'm missing out, man. I should be there,
Okay.
So that's the feeling, I love family,
Yeah.
And whatever we do to keep together, I'm interested in, I get involved. The saying in the Bible, you're your brother's keeper. I get involved. So I'm not one of these people that think if the apartment beneath me is on fire, then because it's not my apartment, that I'm not going to do anything to help. And not realizing that is a stove underneath, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to be cooked. So we have to get involved because we all one. What goes around comes around. So you can't look outside and say, well, listen, the children are going crazy out there. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. Because your children will eventually get caught up in that or in the crossfire, So it's so important for us to know it's not the me factor, it's the we factor. Just take that M and turn it over and.
So one of the things I want to do, I grew up in the Grant houses and, my mother still lives there. So what I want to do is I've been talking to some of the young guys. I said, listen, I want to help you. I want to open up. I got a network, a worldwide network. I got a network in South Africa, Australia, Austria, all over the place, right? In different parts of the country. So I said, hey, I want to open up this network. Why should I have the network and not using it? So I told these guys, I said, listen, would you like to start a business? Would you like to become an entrepreneur? They said, yeah, mate. Yeah, sure, yeah. I said, do you think you can become an entrepreneur? Start a business. They was like, yeah, maybe. I think so. I don't know. I think so. Yeah. So yeah, well, let's do this. So I want to get these young cats from the neighborhood, in different neighborhoods, to start businesses.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think about that?
I think it's a very good idea. Yeah, go ahead.
Matter of fact, it's like dealing with the youth and stuff like that, sometimes they got to gain your trust. When you actually with them, sometimes they think you're talking a whole bunch of nonsense. Because first of all, a little person is it's a big person. They on their own little world. They're Supermen at that teenager age. They think they can do everything, but they want to do it their way. But they don't realize there's rules and regulations on how to go about getting it. So you have to gain your trust and respect before they test the water. Saying like, yo, that brother he talking all this wild stuff. But I tell you, if they just apply themselves and you show them like, look, it works, and you have proof and you have history behind you, that adds onto their trustability for them to come into your realm, so you can actually nurture them and they can branch out into a whole different direction.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. You're right, because they've been disappointed so many times over.
So many times.
Yeah.
And they get fed up with the situation, and it's like, and they see they see our adults not stepping up to the plate, because adults get lackadaisical. They get caught up in their own little so-called world that they think is more important, but they don't realize that offspring that you just had, that's your priority. All right, you do got to make money and pay the bills and all that, but you know something, that person's always going to be there, and God forbid if they resent you, you're going to have really hard time.
Yeah, that's so true, brother. Well said, man.
Well, guess what, man? We almost at the end. We just got a few minutes left.
Wow.
Just got a few minutes left. So we have to get ready for the next program that's coming up. So, Aaron, any final thoughts that you want to share? Do you help people do interior design, the apartments?
I actually do my own interior design, because I realize it's like punching a clock wasn't me.
You have a website?
I have a website. It's called Art is Interiors.
artisinteriors.com.
Yeah. And I say for everyone out there, everybody's got a dream or a skill, but you can't be afraid to do it. If you want to do it, just test the water little by little, and before you know it, you got your own business, you got your own thing going on, and before you know it, God forbid, if your phone don't stop ringing, that's a good thing.
If your phone don't start ringing?
Yeah, if it keeps ringing and people calling you, contacting you, then you begin to expand. Then you begin to start taking on other help and people, and before you know it, you got a giant conglomerate. You never know how far you're gonna go if you don't try it. Because we're so used to pushing the clock, thinking everybody's gonna do everything for us. In today's world, loyalty's out the door. When I want to replace you with a Mexican or someone cheaper, I got it. It's true.
Wow. Okay. Brother Shango, so what are you working on now that you don't have a website yet? You're working on that?
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm putting that together.
Yeah. So you have an email that someone could contact you?
simplyhealthynaz@gmail.com.
Nas, N-A-S?
N-A-S, yeah. Simplyhealthynaz, N-A-S, @gmail.com.
Okay.
And my phone number, 347-369-1698. You know, folks can reach me. So, because what I do is to educate and to teach people the science of the body, you know, because anytime you're having a situation, like even down to pimples on your body or grain of your hair or, you know, itching in certain parts of the body, it actually is indicating that something is going wrong.
Wow.
You know, so this is what I do, is to teach the people the science, you know, and it's to explain to them exactly what these signs mean, so you could know what to do, you know, to save yourself from the bad situation that's hovering.
It's true when he says your body speaks to you in really strange ways, through pain, through afflictions, through turning of the skin, and it will tell you, but if you don't know how to read it.
Yeah, absolutely, because pain is a signal, you know, and folks got to know that pain is a signal. It's just like your red light going on in the car when you're driving, saying you need oil. Or the yellow light, orange light goes on to say you're low in gas.
Yeah.
So pain works the same way. See, when you go to the medical folks and they give you the painkillers, they're actually desensitizing the body. So now the body stops reading. Because if your red light show up in your car, you knock it out, then now you're ignorant to the fact that something is needed.
It's needed.
You know, well, it's the same thing happens when we take these painkillers. You know, it gives us this superficial, way of feeling better.
It numbs the area.
Absolutely.
So you don't feel it.
Oh, so.
Okay. Well, we're at the end. So I want to thank you guys for coming. I want to talk to you about this project that I want to do, and I want to thank you for being here this morning, Aaron
Hey.
Garrett.
I love it. This is. I was really glad to be here because I was like, well, I want to do this.
Well, I need you to let people know about the show. Let people know, your friends and friends. Let's say, hey, you got to listen to the show. What's in your hand?
You want to know something? When you came off the bus and you told me about it, I didn't even know it existed. And now that I know that it existed, now I'm gonna just tell everybody who I know, come in contact with, to let them know about the show.
Yeah, I jumped off the bus. Well, I stayed on the bus, but I saw him walking on 125th, right?
125, right?
And I jumped off the bus. Hey, man, Aaron, what's going on? Because I know you do the art. I was like, hey, gave you my card. So listen, man, I got this show.
That's
So
excellent.
let's talk. And I think, did you give me your card?
No, I didn't have a card.
But you called me.
Yeah, I called you, exactly.
You followed up.
Yep.
Follow up is definitely important. So that was to me, that was like a spiritual moment in a sense.
Oh, we're all connected. It happened for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
all good, definitely.
All right. Well, that's it. It's like, sometime when the show, 'cause I'm doing the show like 2 hours, right? So sometimes I just want to lock the door and just stay. Like I don't want to leave.
That's
I
your
want to just
calling.
barricade the door. Barricade the door and like.
That's your calling. You it's like me when one time I had locked myself up in the house for an entire summer, just paint, draw. That's it.
For a whole summer?
I only came out just to get paid, and I went back inside.
Wow.
That's how much I loved it.
Wow. What do you call that summer?
It was hot. It was brutal. It was productive.
Now, do you write?
Not really, but some people say I should write. But I write more with my thoughts, and basically when I write and draw, and then I can make it come to reality.
Shango, do you write?
Yes, a little. I say a little. It's something I had to practice to do.
Yeah, it's practice like
Yeah.
anything else. I think you should write like every day because, even if you just take a page or a sentence, just for the day, just a sentence. In 365 days, you have 365 sentences that you could actually literally turn into a book.
Book, yeah. And you just write about any caption, anything.
Right, just your thoughts for the day.
Oh, good.
And that's the book. So it's not that difficult, as people might say. You just get someone once you put it together, then you get someone to edit it for you.
And that's how it grows into a book, whatever type book you want.
Yeah.
Before you know it, it's
Yeah.
20,000 sales or more.
Absolutely. Just putting your thoughts in paper.
Yeah, like Chicken Soup for the Soul. They sold 130-something million books.
Wow.
And they got turned down by like 30-something publishers.
Something, even with the publishing industry, any industry right now is totally changed. That's why you got the internet. You can actually branch out and be your own publisher, be your own producer,
That's
be your
right,
own
that's
whatever.
right.
And before you know it,
You can even do your own radio show on the internet now.
yes, you can. Everything's possible now.
Yep. Well, save the babies.
And the show should not stop. It should keep on going.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Young signing off. Remember, today at 1 o'clock, you have the professor is going to be here. Professor Leroy. And I'm sure he's got some great guests. That's one of the things that I learned from him. When I first came to the radio, he was like my coach. And still is my coach.
Right.
And now he says, it's about the guests. Don't come on this radio and you talking, running your mouth. He said it's about the guests. And so I got that. That's why I always have guests. You don't have to hear me talking. I can just be quiet. I got guests. I don't have to say anything. And I learned that from him.
Smart. Now, those are words,
Yeah.
words of wisdom.
Yeah, he taught me, He said, yo, man, it's about the guests. He said a lot of these other shows they hear, they talking. They ain't talking about nothing too tough.
No. The majority of
but
shows are...
so he said, hey, it's about the guests. Bring on guests.
Right.
Guests got information.
Wow.
So sometimes you got to follow orders,
Reason why? Because you'll prosper, even bigger.
Yeah. That's it. Any final words, Shango?
Yeah, well, my final words is to say, folks, wake up, smell the coffee. These days are some serious days. And, we have the universe on our side because this age of Aquarius that we're going into is going to make it much easier on a spiritual level. So, just apply yourself. Faith without works is dead, so get up and do something.
Okay. All right. Rick Young signing off. Another segment of What's in Your Hand Radio. We're now listening to Marvin Gaye, but we're going to take it another place. I'll see you next week. I got a powerful show lined up next Friday and next Sunday. Powerful guests. Friday 6 to 8 and Sunday 6 to 8. I'll see you next week. And don't forget, my Uncle Wiley would say, whoever you are, wherever you are, be the very best that you are. And I say, use what's in your hand.
Mm-hmm.